guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is March 1st, 2025, and I think I told y'all in one of my previous videos I have a goal of reading 50 books this year, and currently we are at 10 books. So I'm more than on pace. I'm like ahead of schedule right now. But for this video, I wanted to go through the books I read in February. I read 6 books in February, and I wanted to give you guys like my little review of them. So let's just get started. The goal wasn't even to read 6 in February. The goal was really to read like 4, just to kind of stay on pace for hitting 50 books by the end of the year, but I knocked out 6. And I'll talk about them in the order that I read them. So I need to check my app to see the order that I read them. Okay. First, I read Verity by Colleen Hoover. If you haven't heard of it, I don't know why you wouldn't have heard of it. But yeah, I read Verity by Colleen Hoover. So first, let me start. I'm gonna rate it like on a scale of 1 to 10. What did I think of this? I'll give it a 9. It was really good. Out of the 6 books I read, actually there were 2 in this pile that I think were better than Verity. Or that I at least liked better than Verity, but it was still really good, and I'm excited for the movie to come out because Anne Hathaway is in it and I love her. But back to the book. Honestly, I'm trying to remember like little details. I should have like prepared myself before I started filming. Okay, the premise, like the idea of it was very creative, like having a woman come in and live in another woman's house, like the woman she's going to be ghostwriting for. That was very creative. I liked the setup. I liked all that. I guess what makes this book like so unique and like talked about in the book world, I guess, is like you're either team manuscript or team letter. I think I'm team manuscript only because after I read it, I was going through like TikTok, like Verity TikTok, and people were saying like there's absolutely no way a mother could have written those things like in the manuscript about her child, about things she did to her child, if she didn't actually do them. Like no mother would even write those things down as pretend or as make-believe. Like you have to do those actions to be in a mindset where you can actually write about them. And then I remember thinking, mind you, I read this at the beginning of February, so my memory could be like a little hazy, but I remember Jeremy had already known about the manuscript. And I'm confused as to why when Lowen brought it up, he kind of acted, well, I don't think he acted surprised, because I think his initial like response when Lowen brought him the manuscript was like, where did you find this? But then he finally went up to Verity's room and was like, hey, like, I don't know. That was a little weird to me, so that's why I like the book. And maybe I'm misremembering things, but I remember that being like in my head, like Jeremy knew about the manuscript the whole time. So correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be misremembering things. I'm quickly reading through like this Reddit forum real quick, and there's actually 3 teams you could be on. So you could be on team manuscript, team letter, or team Jeremy is crazy and he was the real manipulator the whole time. So let me see. So if you're team letter, why would you not write on the manuscript at the top, this is a writing exercise? No, that's a good point. And then they said, why would you hide the letter in the effing floor of all places? And then someone said, if you think the manuscript was real, why would you write a 15-chapter detailed confession to one of the most horrific crimes one could commit? Okay, fair. But I guess Colleen Hoover kind of did that intentionally, like gave valid points for both sides. But Jeremy still don't sit right with me, so I might just be team Jeremy's crazy. Whatever. But yeah, I definitely recommend Verity. It was definitely a good read. The ending just kind of has you like what? Okay, what's the next book I read? The next book I read was Sometimes I Lie. This is by Alice Feeney. This one was actually really good too. I'll give this, I'll give this like a 9.3, because the plot twist in like the middle of the book when you find out the journal you're reading is not hers. I'm forgetting names, but when you find out the journal you're reading is actually the sister's journal, like I was shook, because then I had to go back and think about everything that I read from like the letter or the diary, and I had to like rewire it in my head to see it from the sister's perspective. And Amber was the friend right? Which totally, because I was also thinking, like, when I was reading the journal or the diary before we find out it was actually the sister's diary, I was wondering, like, this girl never writes about her sister. But she has a sister. Like, her sister's like the golden child, but she hasn't written about her yet. Like, has she been born yet? Like what's going on? And then you find out how they actually became sisters. That's like a subplot. Like, that's not even the main point of like the plot, but that's my favorite part of this book is like, yeah, the way that story is told, like the way the past is told. What else? This low-key I think I like this better. I'm not gonna say it is better. Like, I'm not a Rotten Tomatoes type of book reviewer. This is just my little personal opinion. I liked this better than Verity. What else? I'm trying to remember what else happened in this book. I also like how the woman that Amber worked for at like the radio place was her sister's, Claire, her sister's like her aunt or her godmother or something, and Claire was the reason she was working for her because she wanted revenge or something. And I like how they got back at the boss. The boss was, I hated her. So I like in the end how they like set her up and kind of made her lose her job. The ending though left room for like another book to be written, because didn't it hint, I guess it hinted that Claire was still alive, because throughout the book Amber keeps saying, there are 3 things you should know about me. I'm in a coma. Or she doesn't say these exact 3 things, but she continuously is telling us 3 facts about herself. And one that she always includes was, sometimes I lie, which makes the reader think that she claims to have killed her sister and her sister's husband. She claims to have killed them in the blowing up their house or something. But then at the end, I think we see a sign that the sister is still alive. So I don't know, but from what I remember, yeah, I like that book better than Verity. So yeah, I give that like a 9.3. Okay, the next book that I read was The Housemaid. This gets like a 9.6. This was probably my favorite book out of the 6 books that I read in February. So I feel like most readers already assumed that the wife was more than just a mean woman. Like, she had reasons for treating the maid. What was her name? I don't even remember the maid's name. But Nina was the wife, and I feel like most people probably already predicted, like, hey, there's an underlying reason as to why she's treating this maid so badly. And I give my props to Nina. She did what she had to do to get out of that situation. I don't like that it came at another woman's expense, but she knew what she was doing by picking, what is this maid's name? Because I keep calling her the maid. Millie. Millie? I guess her name was Millie. But Nina knew what she was doing by picking Millie, someone who is capable of handling her own. So I guess I understand. And I guess she knew, like, even though she was willing to leave Millie for dead, I guess it's not as bad knowing that Millie is a little crazy and she'll do what she needs to do. And then the little lawn guy, what was his name? I think it was Enzo. Yeah, Enzo. I liked him. Yeah, I honestly don't really have any criticisms for the book. I wasn't aware that this was part of a series. So we will be finishing the series in March this month. So I need to go get those books. But yeah, I don't really have any actual like criticisms for the Housemaid. This was like, yeah, one of my favorite books I've ever read. I like that the cop, I liked that the cop in the end, who easily could have put Nina or Millie, I forget who was left in the end. No, it was Nina. The cop could have easily put Nina away, but he was the father of the husband's ex-wife, and he already knew what was up with him. He knew he was crazy. And I also liked that the husband's mother at his funeral was kind of just like, you made your bed, you made your coffin, now lie in it. Like, yeah. So I like that things kind of came full circle in that way. Yeah, I can't think of a criticism that I had while reading this book. 9.6. Then the next book I read was Everyone Here is Lying. I don't know, I give it like an 8 because I just didn't like, I wish it was something better than the girl just ran away to the neighbors. Like, I wish it was like she actually, like, against her will got kidnapped. I hate that it was voluntary, that it was like she was just setting up her father. Like, I didn't like that. I wish it was something more, something darker. That little girl is crazy though. While the police, mind you, the police were useless because the little girl ended up like escaping, and that's how everyone found her. Like, the police were so useless. So it's so annoying when the police are kind of just there and they're like a bother, like they're not helping. Those detectives were so useless. That was kind of annoying. I wish it was just I just wish it was different than the girl willingly went and hid at the neighbor's house. That was kind of underwhelming, you know? I wanted it to be like some type of like the husband or the mother like really is the one who kidnapped her and like put her away somewhere, and then it unfolds. Like, that's the type of like drama I like. The next book I read though was The Couple Next Door, and this one was really good. I'll give this a 9. This is by the same author, Sherry LaPena, who wrote Everyone Here Is Lying. This one was better to me because it was set up in a way like you couldn't even come up with theories in the beginning because nobody was in the house when the baby got kidnapped. So it's like who can you even put your initial suspicions on? I mean, obviously the mother and the father, but they were at the neighbor's house. So it's like, dang, you're really starting from, like, we're working with nothing. I don't remember how it's revealed to us that the husband is the one who pressured the wife to leave the baby. But once you learn that, then it does make him look bad. Again, I'm not sure when that was revealed to us, but that is when I started having like suspicions of him. I never ever suspected the mother. Even when they were talking about how she had like a psychological disorder where she would like black out and not remember things. Even when they said that, I was like, nah, that's just fluff. Like, she did not do this to her child. So I never suspected her. But I did like that it really was the mother's fault. He's crazy. And then he was having an affair with the neighbor. I did like the ending where the wife blacked out again and killed that lady, because I didn't like her. It was revealed to us kind of early on that the husband carried the baby out to the garage because they saw it on camera. So that on top of like the husband had initially pressured his wife to leave the baby home. Like, we'll just be right next door. We'll have the baby monitor. Like, yeah, that made him look bad. But I knew it was something deeper than that. I'm trying to have sympathy for him, but it's like, you gave your daughter to a stranger. Nah, no amount of money in the world should make you comfortable enough to do that. And the plan was for this stranger to have your child for a few days. No. So I don't like that the husband kind of got off. Like, I feel like he should have had some punishment. I like that in the end it ended up being like the grandfather. I mean, it was kind of the father too because he played a role in it, but it was really like the grandfather. I did like that. Again, I don't think I had like criticisms for this book. I read it in like one sitting because it's pretty thin. So it was one night when I couldn't sleep and I just knocked it out. And wasn't it like the grandmother who put like the final nail in the coffin for her husband? Because she went to the police, I think, and admitted that man, what was his name? The man who initially took the baby. She admitted that was one of her husband's friends. So shout out to her. But yeah, I give this book a 9. Did I say 9? I think I said 9. Okay, and then the last book of February that I finished was this. This is actually pretty big for me. So this one did take me a few days. But this is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. It's not like the plot twist mystery thriller suspense book that these other books were. Like, this was kind of different. So off the bat, it wasn't like one of my favorites just because it didn't really meet the criteria of the type of books that I like. So I don't know, I give this book like a 7. It was an interesting story, but it wasn't that interesting to me. It was nice to read a story from 3 different perspectives and see how they aligned. But other than that, like, it was a bit boring, just again because it's not like the type of books that I like. Cool story though. I feel like it would make a great movie, but there wasn't really there weren't any plot twists other than, I mean, I did like the fact that Libby or Serenity like initially thought she was Henry and Marina, I think is her name, Henry and Marina's child. And then she thought she was Lucy and David's child, just to find out she's Lucy and Finn's child. So that was a little like, I did like that. I did like that. But other than that, I feel like it took too long to kind of get to the point. We didn't really need to know about Marco's dad, Michael, and like Lucy killing him and stuff. I feel like that was kind of unnecessary. Yeah, it was important for us to know like what she's been through in her life and like how Michael treated her and stuff. But I guess it was important to show what she would do to get those passports for her children. So yeah, I guess it did kind of suck me in finding out that like Henry was kind of crazy and took on Finn's identity, even though he won't really admit it because he was in love with him or whatever. But and then at the end it suggests that Henry's gonna go with Libby and what's his name, the journalist. Libby and the journalist get together. And then it suggests that Henry's going to go with them to the safari in Botswana to see Finn. Because Finn is her dad, so obviously she wants to meet him. But Henry has ulterior motives, so. But yeah, I give that like a 7. It just wasn't up my alley. So, those are all the books I read in February. It is now a new month, which means I need to figure out which books I plan to read this month. There is one book that I got in my Barnes & Noble video that I uploaded like 2 videos ago that I haven't got to yet. It's called She Doesn't Have a Clue. So this is next up. Just put that right there. But other than that, we're out of books. So stay tuned for another Barnes & Noble vlog. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know if I want like my channel to start pivoting towards like book content only. I don't want to niche down and just make this like a booktube channel. But hey, if that's what I'm doing at the moment, then I'm gonna make a video about it. So we'll see which direction this channel goes. If I start making content geared towards like books and stuff, it's gonna be natural, you know. I'm not gonna force this channel to like suddenly become a book channel. Like I'm still, whatever's going on in my life at that time, that's just what I'm gonna make a video about. And if it just happens to be books more so than anything else, then hey. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.